All right, recording. Is faith and religion just a safety net for people? Is it like a sort of a cop-out, right? You don't want to take responsibility for something bad happened to you yesterday. Instead of owning up and changing your life, maybe changing some decisions, say, I have faith. I believe it was supposed to happen. I have faith. Seems like sort of a cop-out, right? What do you guys think? Yes or no?
I think
Right.
that...
Are you with us? Sorry, go ahead, Ethan.
I think that in certain cases, it can be used as like a cop-out or a scapegoat, but it's not like the religion's fault. Like someone could say the Bible told me to the Bible told me to kill this person, so I killed this person, which obviously it doesn't. But they could use that, or like, I don't know what the Bible says, but I'll just use Judaism. Like someone could say, it says no working on Friday, so I'm not gonna like help anybody out. And they're gonna use that to like as like a cop out and say like take it super literally and say that they can't do the specific thing or that they can do the specific thing because of their religion.
Right.
But I don't think it's necessarily based on that.
Okay. So you think at its core, not necessarily is it something that it's a cop-out, but it can be used as a tool if someone wanted to use it as a cop-out.
Yeah, I think that it's there for your morals and to help you lead a moral life and to help you lead a good life. But some people abuse that and use it as a scapegoat.
Right. That's an interesting point. I guess anything really can be abused, even if it's something really good, right? Right. Interesting. Thanks for weighing in there, Ethan. Appreciate it. Okay. So I just heard word from a galaxy called terrestrial lavula. Yeah, that's the word. So it's the tongue. Terrestrial lavula. I heard word from them. I was basically in my backyard. I see this bright light. This guy looks at me. He looks exactly like this. I managed to snap a picture of him. And he told me that there's extraterrestrial life in this place called Terra Lavia. What do you guys think about that? Let's hear arguments pro and against. If you think there is life on Terra Lavia, chime in right now.
I mean, if he says he's from there and he's not a human, then yeah.
Okay, you're with that? Perfect. All right. If you're against this idea that there is no chance this guy from Terra Lavia, he dressed up in a Halloween costume, chime in now.
I don't think it was that he dressed up in a Halloween costume, but I think it's VFX.
Okay. It was on Zoom, you're saying. Well, to make matters worse, this alien looked at me and then he said, hey, you must believe in me. So now I'm telling you guys that you must believe in this alien. How many more of you are now convinced that there is extraterrestrial life on Terra Lavia? Yossi, Penina, haven't heard from you yet.
I'm not convinced that you're right, but I can't prove you wrong, so I can't say you are wrong.
Wow, very diplomatic, thank you. Were you swayed more when I told you that the alien told me to believe in him? Did that sway your opinion any more? No. Okay. Well, thank you, Penina, because you have just proved question one. Question one, the first mitzvah of the Rambam, Maimonides, puts the first mitzvah in his book as belief in God. He tells the mitzvah the first mitzvah that he tells us all about, it's not the first mitzvah recorded in the Torah, but the Rambam puts his mitzvah in a different order. And his mitzvah, when they're ordered, the first mitzvah is the commandment to believe in God. So let's read source 1, Yossi. Go ahead.
The first commandment which we are commanded to do is believe in God. We should believe that there is a cause to all of existence, and this is the meaning of what the Torah says, I am the Lord your God.
Okay, so basically God tells us to believe in him. Everyone good with that? Anyone have any questions? Bryce, are you with us?
I am.
Okay, cool. Make sure you're with us. Anyone want to weigh in with the question there? I want you guys to believe that Yossi is truly Benny Shmelnik. I'm commanding you today that Yossi is Benny Shmelnik. How many of you guys are going to walk home feeling so much more convinced because I told you that Yossi is Benny Shmelnik? See you guys getting really convinced there. Here's the question, the brilliant question. How can you command someone to believe in him? Look at it both ways. If I already believe in God, then what's the point of you commanding me to believe in him? It's like me telling you, believe that this is a phone. Do I need to tell you that? No, you know this is a phone. But if you firmly believe that this is not a phone, you firmly believe it's a battery, can I tell you, believe that this is a phone, and you'll believe it anymore because I told you that this is a phone? Will you believe it anymore because I told you to believe in it?
Can I say something really quick, Rabbi?
Sure.
So, I mean, from what I know, it doesn't, in the Torah specifically, it doesn't actually, God doesn't ever command us specifically to believe in him. He just says, I am your God. And like, that's just like, it's up to you to believe that or not. Like, it's up to us to have faith. It's not, there's no, what's it called? Dogma in Judaism. There's no, like, whatever rabbis say that that it is a commandment, but I don't think that is a commandment. I think he's just stating, like, I am, whether you like it or not, and you can believe in that if you want to, or you can believe in it however much you want to.
Okay, fair enough. So you're right, Penina. If you went strictly by the Torah's word, I need to look, but I think you're right. I don't think there's anywhere in the Torah where it says very clearly, believe in me. It doesn't say those words. Our question really is on Maimonides, Rambam. So you disagree with the Rambam?
I don't
That's okay.
necessarily disagree with the Rambam, but I just don't think that it's necessarily a commandment. I don't know.
Okay, fair enough. So like you'll see in the course, you're right. Our question is not on the Torah, it's on the Rambam. And many people don't actually put this as a mitzvah. And maybe they believe like you. Maybe they think like you. It's always fine to have a difference of opinion because you'll see throughout the board, there's always arguments. So there will be someone going like you. So, but really our question is on the Rambam, who says very clearly, the first mitzvah is that we commanded to believe in God. That's how he understands the Torah. Okay?
I have a question.
Yes.
So for the 10 commandments, are they like, did God say these are the 10 commandments, or are they perceived to be named the 10 commandments?
God told us 10 commandments. So
okay, so he
that's
said,
called the 10
like,
commandments.
they
they weren't
are,
named, right?
or, like,
But Penina, I have a
okay.
question for you. According to you, that doesn't say anywhere in the Torah to believe in God, what is the action of the first of the 10 commandments? Like, let's look at number 2, don't have any other God. So that's an action not to do something. Or number 5 is to honor your parents, right? So you go do something. If there's no commandment to go and believe in God, then what is the action there inherent in the first commandment that I am God, your God? What is the action there? You see, I think I hear what you're saying, but I think that's why the Rambam is compelled to say that that is a commandment to believe in him, because otherwise, what else is there to say? Okay, I'm your God. Great, God. Thanks for telling us a statement. Anyone tell us anything else? You want fries with that? So he must be telling us to go do something with that information. So the Rambam understands from that to go believe. Now, don't get me wrong, there are other people that agree with you that there is no commandment to believe in God. However, the Rambam says there is. Other people word it a little differently. Well, we're not dealing with them right now, but that is a very strong question that you'd have if you didn't go like the Rambam is. What is the first of the 10 commandments? But if you say that therefore that belief is a commandment, right? So we have to figure this out. What commandment is there? Either you believe or you don't. Belief is not something that I can put inside your brain. So clearly, we have to say that belief is not what we're commanding you to do is not to have a feeling. It's past even you have that feeling, assuming that you already have the feeling of belief. Now you need to go do something with that feeling. There is an action that we got to go do. So what is that action? So let's look at slide 3. Why don't we identify with our godly core at all times? What do you guys think? If we have a godly core inside us all times, why don't we feel so strongly about God every second of the day? Thoughts?
I think that if we did identify with that all the time and every single person identified with their godly core, it would kind of devalue faith, because if everyone believed all the time, every day, every second, it wouldn't be that valuable to God and to us if we just followed everything blindly. Since we question it and we have discussions, and some days we don't feel that strongly, some days we do, it gives faith more value. And those days that you don't feel and you identify with the godly core, it means that much more to your faith that you don't feel that and that you question that and then you bounce back from it.
Beautiful. Wow. The rarity of it makes it so much more valuable. Wow. Very, very well said, Ethan. Thank you for sharing. Anyone else? Beautiful. So that's a very nice take on that. And actually, we're gonna touch on that at the end of the class. Now, a politician, like politicians do, will spend probably a whole day filibustering their way through this question. But the Torah, in its classic style, answers this question with 2 sentences. It could have done it with 1, but it chose to do it with 2. Let's go to source 2 on page 29 of my book. Bryce, can you please read source 2 and source 3 for us?
Sins get in the way. Only your sins separate between you and your God.
Beautiful.
I don't know how to say this word.
Dichotomy.
The dichotomy within us. On the brink of breaking in, the thief cries out to God.
Beautiful. Thank you. A second, sorry. Just get my screens all set up. Okay. So source 1, in short, basically tells us that really there's something in the way between us expressing that godly core at all times. And source 3 gives us an example of that. Think of this. A thief, here I'll show you a little video. A thief is about to go against one of the 10 commandments, do not steal. And what does he do? He stops before he goes in and he prays to God for success. Seem ironic? A little hypocritical? Let's see. The praying thief.
Surveillance video shows this man saying a prayer, making the sign of the cross before a smash and grab at a clothing store in Gravesend, Brooklyn. This video shows him grab a large brick, which he throws at the front door of Ziani on Avenue U twice, smashing the glass, then forcing his way in. Oh my gosh. We showed the video to some customers who say the man is going to need a lot more than a prayer when police find him. I make of this that he went and he was praying to God and said, please forgive me for what I'm going to do. praying that he could get in there and get out quick without anybody seeing him, but that's really foolish. But he did. Once inside, the man swipes about 20 pieces of expensive clothing off the racks, taking off with an armful of suit jackets, many worth more than $1,000 each.
Wow. Thoughts? Your thoughts? Yes, you've been awfully quiet today. What's your thoughts on that?
I don't know. It seems a bit hypocritical, but at the same time, I mean, if we attribute God with success and not with morality, it seems to be what he's doing.
But if the same God told you a moral code, then
That's why it seems hypocritical.
right. Interesting. So you'd only subscribe to part of what God said. It's sort of like a pick what you like, buffet religion. I want the stealing part. I don't want the praying part. I'll take 2 heads of murder, please. Sort of like
some Jews do that with like keeping Shabbos and kosher. Why can't you do that with stealing?
That's true. Well, you're right. I think it's a good point to mention that all of us are guilty of this in some level, in that we don't completely observe every single mitzvah at the same time. The key here is that we don't act hypocritical at that very moment, right? So, meaning at this very moment we're feeling inspired, we'll go and do what it feels to go do inspired. But if we're feeling inspired, but then we only do part of what we're supposed to do, right? It's like that is the hypocritical part. All of us keep Shabbos. Some of us don't do the full thing. That's okay. We're doing as much as we can. We're not deliberately going and saying, I'll take this, but not that, right? It's a different angle. Even though it comes out to be the same thing, you're choosing, but one, you're saying, I like this, I don't like that. One, you're saying, I'm just doing the best I can. I'm not at that stage yet, but I'm doing the best I can, right? But interesting point, Yossi. Thanks for bringing it up. But let's get back to it. So how can this happen? How could a thief pray to God and go against it? So Yossi says, well, he only subscribes to part of God. I think he subscribes to the full thing, but it is not readily apparent in him. It is not full force. Let's look at this satellite. How does your internet connection work right now? How are you getting internet, Ethan Schwartz? What's happening with your modem?
They're sending signals back and forth to each other.
Exactly. So the same way a satellite works is the same way our soul works. What happens if that signal is broken up? There's a cloud, or there's a thunderstorm, or a satellite breaks. What happens? No internet connection. The soul has the same amount of levels and different ways that it connects with God, and it keeps going back and forth, back and forth. But if there's a storm, or if there's something covering over that connection, or something's broken, then the connection won't work, and it'll only work halfway. Like for that thief, his has a big storm clouding most of his faith. So yes, and Yossi, in a way, you're right. He's only fulfilling part of God, not because he's choosing to, but because there is a storm. So wait, so what happens if I have a storm in my life? Is that saying that faith is by choice and you can't choose to have full faith? Well, here, let's do an activity. Let's have a question, I'm sorry. Have you ever seen the smoking packets that say a big lettering on the front, smoking kills, surgeon's warning? Yes? We've all seen them before, right? And how many people do you know pick up that cigarette pack and smoke away? They probably see it 10 times a day. What is going on there? If you went over to those people and said, hey, dude, do you want to die? I have a great for you to die. You could jump off a cliff. I could plunge a sword through your back. Do you want to die? What would the person respond? Most likely he would say, no, I don't want to die. So what's going on here? He's choosing to take his life by having a cigarette. That's what it says on the packet, right? How could anyone smoke when they see that warning? How, guys? Bryce. Answer this question for me.
I don't know. Sorry, I got distracted.
You got to stay with the program, right? Do 10 push-ups right now. 10 push-ups. 10 push-ups. For the rest of you, what is going on in America that millions of people smoke while looking at a packet that says, what you are doing right now is going to kill you? And if you went to that person and said, hey, do you want to die? They would say, absolutely not. I love living. How could anyone smoke?
It's an addictive drug.
It's a drug, okay. It's addictive, right?
I think the label isn't effective because they think, oh, because I mean, it is because the government requires it on it. And if the government didn't require it, I don't think that the cigarette companies would put it on it because they don't care because it's their product.
See, they're figuring out a way to do it in a way that it looks bold, but it's not really discouraging the person.
Yeah, it's because it's just words. It's the same thing. They know it that it's hurting them. They know that, but they still do it, and the label isn't going to do anything. Them saying that
versus putting someone with like the cross eyes, they're probably more effective.
Yeah, if you gave them if you showed them someone that was dying of smoking, and you showed them their black lungs, then that would might deter some of them.
Interesting. You show them a video. Exactly. I think that's the answer here. Our thief does not really know, not really aware of what his actions are doing. If he made a conscious decision to deliberate over his faith, if he made a conscious decision to make a part of his awareness, that faith would be more printed and most likely he would not have been stealing. If you go to someone and you show them a video of the actions, what is happening right now in your body when you take that cigarette, they will be shocked to the core, at least a little more shocked, like you've been saying, than seeing a bunch of words. It's all about imprinting it more on our minds. So how do we imprint faith on our minds? How do we take it from just a label on the front of a pack to being front and center in our minds so that we're shocked to the core to really have this faith in God? Faith, number 2, page 31, fostering faith. Let's go to source 4 and 5. Source 4, Panina, please. Actually, wait, did you read? You read it? Oh, for you who did not read yet? Ethan, I don't think you read yet. Source 4, please.
The essential thing is the mental training that to habituate one's mind and thought continuously, that it ever remained fixed in his heart and mind, that everything one sees with one's eyes, the heavens and the earth and all that is therein, constitutes the outer garments of the King, the Holy One, blessed be he. In this way, he will constantly be aware of their inwardness and vitality. This is also implicit in the word emuna, faith, which is a term indicating training, to which a person habituates himself like a craftsman who trains his hands.
Beautiful, excellent. Panina, in short, please give me that in one sentence. What is emuna? What Ethan just read. In one sentence, go for it. Short and sweet. Putting you on the spot here, I know, but come on, you can do it.
Generally, I guess they're saying emunah is training, and a stronger way to have faith is having habits that what's it called?
Making it a habit.
That strengthen that.
Yeah, perfect. Beautiful. Thank you very much, Panina. Thank you very much, Ethan. Faith, emunah, also can look like the word omen. If you look in the Hebrew in the last line, you'll see the last 2 words. Omen hama'amin. They come from the same root word as emunah. Omen. Omen is a craftsman. What makes someone good at building chairs? What makes someone good at any sport? What makes someone good at a job? You ever heard of the 10,000 hour rule? We had a discussion last CTeenU about if it's true or not. Yossi can tell you all about the end of the class. But it's very simple. The more you do something, the better you get at it, and the more skilled you are. The more you practice your faith, the better you'll be at your faith, right? It's very simple. Emunah doesn't just mean a belief system that's just there. No, it's an exercise that needs to be constantly exercised. Let's look at source 5. It says something very similar. Bryce, take it away.
However, Maimonides and his school of thought, who include belief as a mitzvah.
Pause right there. So you'll see, Panina, that is Maimonides, Rambam, and his school of thought, meaning there's people that don't subscribe to his school of thought, but Rambam and the people similar to him that agree with him, that they agree that there is a mitzvah to believe, okay? Not like you, Panina. You disagree. That's okay.
Wait, I'm not saying it's not a mitzvah to not believe.
Yep.
I think it is a mitzvah to believe. I just think it's not a commandment in the Torah.
Gotcha. Okay. Fair enough. Fair enough. Totally respect that. Bryce, carry on.
Their reasoning is that the mitzvah involves deepening one's understanding and contemplation of that which one already instinctively knows. And this action can be commanded. For even a truth that one already knows, if one does not think about it and contemplate it, if one's mind is completely distracted from this truth, then the knowledge of this truth is useless. And even if one does think about it, that is not sufficient. One must invest the intellect in deep thought about this truth, and then it will have an impact on one's character and personality. And
Sorry, carry on. You're doing great.
And regarding this, it states, know therefore this day and consider it in your heart.
Beautiful, beautiful, excellent. So let's take a step back. What are we trying to do here, guys? What is this faith that we're trying to do? The faith is a cornerstone of you. It's the cornerstone of your day, of your life. It's the cornerstone of your existence. If you get this faith right, then everything goes right. Okay? So therefore, we're not content with just letting it stay as a piece of knowledge, a pretty piece of information that I happen to learn, because this is the cornerstone of my life. So the better the cornerstone, the stronger it is, the better the building will be. Okay? So we're saying over here, therefore, that if you want to have good faith, first of all, everyone has it. And that's the argument right there, Padina. The people that agree with you that say, well, yeah, I don't see faith in the Torah, it's because those people say, well, everyone has faith. It's natural. You can't create faith. So you have it. The question is it a mitzvah to go and practice the faith or not? Bryce, where do you go? Come back. Bryce. Dum, 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 dum.
Sorry, my dog was eating the trash. I had to lock him out, but yeah.
Your dog does not have faith. After this, you're going to speak to him and you're going to imprint faith in his mind. So we are trying, let me get back to my train of thought. 1 second, I'm on the train going westbound, eastbound. All right, perfect, back into it. So the more we practice this faith, the mitzvah, therefore, is to practice the faith, and we'll get better at it, and it'll become imprinted in our minds, and it'll become more part of us, and we'll be able to act on this faith and become better people and listen and respect and do more mitzvah, because the faith is what drives all of that. So the mitzvah is not to have faith, because you can't command someone to believe. The mitzvah is to practice thinking every time you think about it. Now, let's get a little Kabbalistic. Should we get a little Kabbalistic, everyone? Ethan, you with me?
Yeah.
You guys have heard of the word Chabad? I'm sure you heard of the word Chabad. Chabad is not a movement. Chabad is actually a thought process. Chachma, Bina, Dat. Take the first 3 letters of each of those words, you get Chabad. Chachma, Bina, Dat. That's the way everyone thinks. Here's the way you think. I'm going to go into your mind. I'm going to sightsee. Ready, Panina? Ready, Ethan? Ready, Bryce? Yossi? Here we go. First thing that happens is you go, oh my gosh, just thought of something. Oh, cool. Wait, and then you want to think about it more, so you distract from everything else, and then you think about it a little more. Okay, cool. Then you start feeling it. You start feeling it in your mind. Oh, this feels good. This feels right. What just happened there is Chachma bin Adah. Chachma is called the flash. It's like, whoa, aha, got it. Then goes Bina, where you make it into a thought, a comprehensive thought. And then goes Dat. Dat is really crucial. It's not really a thought, it's more of a feeling. It translates the thought into a feeling. It makes it more something that is real, something that gets you excited. Das is like the exciting part. If you don't have Dat, then it remains just a thought. If you have Dat, now you can feel it and you know it's right and you start acting with conviction. That's Chabad. So if you only have Chachma Bina, then all you have is a piece of knowledge. Dat is what causes you to act on the knowledge, whatever it is. You like pizza, so you're gonna feel like, oh, I think of the sauce and the cheese and the olives. Yes, I want it right now, right? That's Dat right there. Without that, it's like, cheese, a lovely conglomerate of things that come from a cow. Wow. No one's going to eat pizza if you talk about it like that. So you see the difference? If you look in the Hebrew, in the second to last line of the paragraph that Bryce so beautifully just read, you'll see the word viadata. You see that word viadata, the middle word? Right there, dat. That's the word dat. The key word over here. You need to exercise your faith. That is the dat. The more you exercise it, the more real it will be, and the less you'll be like that silly thief stealing from Zanios. Got a joke for you guys. This couple, they come to get divorced. You know how old they are? They're 80 years old. The judge looks at them and says, guys, I think it's a little past your due date. You can't get divorced anymore. You should have told us a while ago. What happened? You guys look like you're happily married. 60 years married. Now you want a divorce? Wife says, well, the truth is we're very happily married, but here's one problem. My husband never tells me I love you. He never says it. The husband says, what? That is not true. The husband says, I do say it. Yeah. When did you say it? I told you right when we were married. The first day of marriage, I told you, I love you. If anything changes, I'll let you know. So, of course, faith is the same way. I believe in God. You're not good for the next 50 years. The more you do it, the more real it becomes, just like love. All right. We got love in there. We got dots in there. What a lovely lesson. All right, let's go to step 3, commitment and loyalty on page 34 in mine. I'm not sure what it is in yours, but let's go to commitment and loyalty. If we have time, we'll show a fascinating, powerful video of faith right here, but we don't have time right now. So commitment versus loyalty. What do these words mean to you? Anything? Shout it out. Bryce, Yossi, Ethan. What do these words mean to you? Commitment versus loyalty. What does it mean to you? Means anything? Does commitment mean anything to you, Yossi? Does loyalty mean anything to you, Ethan? What does the word mean when you look at it? What is the difference between the two? What's the difference between commitment and loyalty? Gosh, you guys are awfully quiet. You're making me talk a lot.
I think that loyalty is like feeling you want to be like in the context of a person, you want to be by their side and you are like with them no matter what. And then commitment is like an obligation. You feel obligated to, like a baby, you feel like obligated to like care for it.
Bingo. Wow. 2 perfect examples for commitment and loyalty. I like those examples, Ethan. Thank you. Commitment is even when it's not easy. That's like a baby, right? It's not easy sometimes, but you do it anyway. Loyalty is a little different. It's more of like when you're tempted to go another way, which is the perfect example you gave of marriage, right? Sometimes it's tempting to go to another girl, another boy, right? But you don't do it because you're loyal. So faith can also be translated as commitment and loyalty. And we'll see why that is so important. Let's go to source 6. Yossi, we haven't worked for you in a long time. Read it with a lot of gusto. Gusto. Come on, gusto. Yossi, gusto. Come on, gusto.
Not so with my servant Moses, for he is the trusted Naaman one in all my house.
Beautiful. Oh, wow, man. Let's go back here. Thank you, Yossi. So, and the word there, as you see in the Hebrew, is ne'eman. Again, same word as emunah. But here, ne'eman means trusted. Okay, he's loyal. Okay, he's loyal. It's faithful and loyal. Let's talk a little about commitment. So that's loyal because Moshe can say, I don't really like God today. I like someone else, but he was loyal. Let's look at commitment. Who was committed? A guy that came before him. His name was Abraham. Bryce. Tell us about Abraham. Actually, Bryce, you read a long paragraph right before this. We'll give you a break. Panina, we're on to you. Source number 7. Go for it.
Okay. And it came to pass after these things that God tested Abraham and said to him, Abraham. And he said, Behold, here I am. And he said, Take now your son, your only son, Isaac, whom you love, and go to the land of Moriah, and offer him there for a burnt offering upon one of the mountains which I will tell you. And Abraham rose up early in the morning and saddled his donkey and took 2 of his assistants with him and Isaac his son, and broke the wood for the burnt offering, and rose up and went to the place which God had told him.
Excellent. Do you guys see commitment there? Panina, do you see commitment there? He was told to offer up his son. What could be harder than that? A son born to you at 99 years old. You've waited 99 years for this precious son who is going to be the future of this fascinating dynasty, this nation that's promised to you. And you're going to give him up on an altar and kill him? It's murder. It's your only son. It's a nation. Waited 99 years for this guy. There could not be anything harder than that. When you look at that story, what is one title for how you'd want to label Abraham? Actually, let's take out the names. I met this guy. His name is blank, okay? This guy blank, he went next door. I saw him with a knife about to plunge it into the heart of his baby boy. What would you call that guy?
Crazy.
Crazy, yeah.
Wow. That's it. You guys are pretty chilled about this guy. I call him a murderer. A murderer, killing your son. Guys, you're not
Crazy people can't be murderers?
Oh, that's
come on, Rabbi.
Crazy murderer. I mean, like, you should want to go for the more shocking one. Let's be sensationalist here. Guys, stand up. Let's do some jumping jacks. Come on. You guys are way too lethargic today. Come on. 1, 2, 3, 4. Come on, let's go. You got this. Come on, Panina. Come on, Yossi. Bryce. Stand up. Bryce, stand up. Good job, Ethan. No. Stand up. I can see you sitting there. Stand up. Bryce, stand up. Bryce, Panina, come on. Push-ups.
I am standing.
You are?
Yes.
Oh, awesome. Good. Okay, concentrate. Let's go. So, how could Abraham do such a thing? Most people will look at this and say that's why I'm not a believer. That's why I don't do this religious stuff, because that's crazy. Offering up your son. I mean, I get belief when it's a good thing, but not when it comes to murder. That's crazy. So there's a deeper question here is, how could even Abraham already follow this? It's like following faith blindly, right? How could he even do such a thing? So, you guys ever heard of Dr. Albert Schweitzer? Never heard of him? This is Dr. Albert Schweitzer. And he opened up a little hospital in Africa. And in the first 9 months, him and his wife, they examined and treated 2,000 patients. 2,000 patients. That's, I don't know, calculate that. But in 9 months, 9 times 30, 270. So that's around like a little less than 10 patients a day. That's a lot. Per day. 2,000 patients. Now, let's just imagine that this Dr. Albert Schweitzer, who's doing such a great service to humanity, treating people who have no access to medical care. And he's at number 1,999. And the child needs an emergency surgery. Dr. Albert says, I'm sorry, little boy, you need surgery. He doesn't have time, though, to explain why he needs a surgery. He needs it right now. Okay? Do you think that it would be outrageous for that kid to accept that Dr. Albert Schweitzer needs to do that surgery without questioning him? Or you think that it would be plausible? What do you guys think?
I think that if he's like number 1999 and he's seen the other work, then I think it's plausible. But if he's like the first one or like the second one, and this random guy who just came, who's never been there before, no one knows him, no one's ever seen him. He says he's a doctor, then it would be just crazy if you needed to cut off your leg.
Bingo! Let's give a round of applause for Ethan for being so on the board today. And here, we're going to go to my actions. Where's my actions? Here. How do I? Oh, yeah, here. Woo! I gave you an applause. Yeah, we give an applause to Ethan. Ethan, thank you so much for participating actively today. You're really making the class so much funner. And as the perfect answer, he is the number 2000. So he's seen the past work, and therefore he behaves accordingly, and he trusts it, right? So doesn't seem outrageous. If it was the first guy, then yeah, you're trusting the absolute stranger. So does that help you understand? Can you understand the question of how Avram could go and sacrifice his son? Is a blind faith? Using this example, can anyone understand the answer for how Avram could go and sacrifice his son? Let's look at the case. His son is already older. He's lived around 110 years, Avram. Okay? For the past 107 years of his life, he's every day woken up and professed his belief in God. And he's acted on that belief in praising God and praying to him and welcoming in guests and doing mitzvah. Every day, he is shown his faith for God. So when it comes to day 10,000, it's not blind faith anymore for him to go and follow what God says, even if the task is to offer up his son, because this is the natural course. He is patient 2000. He has seen the past evidence that for the past 100 years, he's believed in God and it's worked. So today must work too. It sounds a little crazy, but it's very much more plausible because I've spent the last 100 years believing in this very thing. And I've acted on that faith. Do you guys get the answer now? Yossi, Bryce, okay. Panina, you get the answer? Awesome. So therefore, this loyalty, this commitment isn't just something that you just have. You have to act on it. The everyday acting loyal to God makes it that much easier for you to act loyal tomorrow until you get to the point where you can do something so crazy like offering up a son for God because you believe with absolute faith because you're loyal and because you're committed to the truth. But let's address one final question here, point D, and that is the $1,000,000 question. So Dr. Albert Schweitzer does not have the ability, because he's human, to rationally explain to this little kid in African that he needs a surgery. He doesn't speak the language, and he also doesn't have the time. But that's where the connection ends. Can God explain to us why we need to believe in him? Yes or no? What do you say, Bryce? Is God able to do that? Is he capable of explaining to us why we should believe in him?
I don't know, with all the miracles that have been done, I guess, and all the proofs.
I'm asking for how. I'm just asking yes or no. Is God capable of explaining it to us?
I'm guessing yes.
I agree with you. And I think Panina agrees with you too. God is capable of that. So I get Albert Schweitzer he needs that boy to have faith that he's doing the right thing, because he just can't do it. He's human. But God, he's capable of doing anything. And he's capable of explaining even faith to us rationally. He can prove to us beyond a shadow of a doubt why we should believe in him. So why doesn't he? Why does he leave it up to faith? What point is there for us to go walking in the dark? That's literally what it's like, walking in the dark, because you don't know for sure that God is there or not. You have to have faith. That's what faith is. Why can't God just explain it to us? Why does he need us to all like walking in the dark and have to doubt if it's true or not, and have to do this whole exercise every day of our lives to exercise that faith? Just explain it to us, and then we'll be believers forever. What do you guys think?
To allow us to have freedom of choice.
Oh, okay. Maybe God can create that will believe and still have freedom of choice. But that's a great point. It's a great point. Very good point, Bryce. Thank you. Source 8. Bryce, since you started, finish off. Source 8.
And he, God, said, "You cannot see my face, for no man shall see me and live."
Ki lo yir'ani ha'adam v'choy. No man can see me and live. Source 9, Yossi.
And this is the name of Elohim as a shield and a covering for the name Havayah, to conceal the light and life force which flows from the name Havayah and brings creation into existence from naught, so that the light and the life force should not be revealed to the creatures, who thereby would become absolutely nullified.
Okay, so thank you, Yossi. Source 9 is a little esoteric. Let me explain it to you. There is, in general, 2 descriptions for God. There is the name Havaya, or Hashem, and then there's the name Elohim, right? In your prayers, you always see Hashem, Elohim. What's the difference between the 2 names? They're both God. Hashem is the pure light. There's no change to it. It's pure godly light. Elohim is light that has been covered. It itself is a cover. Okay? So in the source, you're seeing here that Elohim is the shield for Havaya. Now, let me show you something really cool. If you take, I'll draw it on the whiteboard so you guys can see. But if you take where are we? If you take the word Elohim, okay, super cool. Here we have Aleph, Lamed, Hey, Yud, and Mem. Who wants to annotate how much each of these equal? Every letter in the Hebrew alphabet has a numeric value. So who would like to draw here the numeric value for Aleph? Go ahead. If anyone knows it, they can draw it in right now in this box.
1, but I don't think we can draw on it.
Yeah, you have, you could annotate. And how much is Lamed? How about Hey? How about Yud? And how about Mem? So, Aleph equals 1. Lamed equals, oops. Oh, thank you, Ethan. Okay, thank you. Ethan, how about you take Lamed? You know what Lamed is? Well,
It's 30, right?
30, thank you. How about Hey? Anyone?
5.
Write it in.
Okay. Good enough.
All right. Thank you, Ethan. Here, look at your beautiful 5. How about Yud? Write it in.
10.
You have to write it in, Yossi. It doesn't count.
I don't know how. It's not letting me.
Ah, yes, Ethan got it before you.
That's
And how much
fine.
is Mem?
Isn't it 40?
It is. All right, someone draw the total over here.
86.
86 is correct. Ethan, you want the honors? You write it over here. Meanwhile, let's erase this. And let's go for another word this time. This time, we're going to draw the word ha, hey, te, va.
I'm gonna guess it's 86.
Ah, man, how do you know? Let's go through it. Hey equals
5.
5. Ethan, all yours. Tet equals
9.
9. Very good. Ethan, all yours. That is
2.
2. Iron is
70.
70. Very good. Add that up. And what do you got? What do you got?
86.
86. Hateva, the word that means nature, and Elohim are the exact same numeric value. Because Elohim, the godly name of God, thank you, Ethan, for the brilliant notation, is the cover for our God. Elohim is the cover, just like nature is a cover. We don't see God because nature covers over it. All those forces of nature, that's all we see. We see trees growing, we see grass blooming, we see winds at force, we see wind, we see gravity, we see electromagnetic, all that crazy, crazy stuff. That is covering over God. Hateva, nature, is just like Elohim in that it covers over the pure light of God. So why is God covered? Because if he wasn't covered, then we would just die at the sight of him. He would be too great for us to even look at. So perhaps that's why God needs to cover himself over. He has to make a shield for himself in the guise of his own. He's shielding his own self. The word Elohim is also God, but it's God withdrawing and covering his own light so that we won't just die because his light is too great for us to handle. Yes, Bryce?
So with the 2 million witnesses of seeing God, how did they see God without dying?
Ah, beautiful question. They actually did. They died the first time when the God said the first commandment. And they died the second time when God said the second commandment.
Right.
They died twice. And each time God brought them back to life.
Ah, okay.
And by the third time, they were like, hey, God, this is a little too much. Can we just hear from Moses? So they had the last 8 from Moses.
Okay.
So that's why God conceals himself so that we won't just be overwrought by this great godliness and just expire. We'll just die from the sheer brilliance of the light. But then we have one last question, guys. Couldn't God have created us in a way that we can handle his light? That's not an answer that God covered his light because we wouldn't be able to handle him. And that's why we need to walk in the darkness and believe in him. Create us powerful enough to be able to handle God's light. Here's the problem with that. And with that, we close our lesson. What would happen if you were right now in front of your most famous celebrity? How would you act? Same way you're acting now or different?
Same.
Who's your celebrity, Yossi?
I don't know.
Me, I know. I'm your celebrity.
Yes.
I'm just kidding. It's Panina.
Yep.
Panina, how would you
Okay.
act right now? The same or different?
Probably very different.
Awesome. Who's your famous celebrity?
I don't know.
Okay.
A lot.
My favorite celebrity is Yossi.
Aw, and he's from
Aw.
California. Wow.
Wow.
Ethan, who's your
So that
famous
means
celebrity?
the same. Bryce's answer is the same.
Benny Schmelnick.
Wow.
Yeah, Benny Schmelnick is my favorite celebrity.
So how do you act when you're in front of Ben Ishmael, like Yossi?
The same. The same.
Okay, you're not helping me out, guys. But we usually, when we're in the face of some famous personality, we become a little nervous, we act a little different, more proper, more conscious of how we're feeling. When we're around ourselves, our family, we act totally different. If God was right there in our faces all day long, would we be sinning? Would we feel like we have a choice to do good or bad? Would we sometimes slip up and cheat on our tests if we had our teacher's face in our nose?
No.
No. And
Thanks,
that's why
Steve.
God needs to conceal himself from us. Because what would you rather? Hang out with 10 yous, 10 people just like you? Or 10 friends that all are different opinions, different feelings. They're not you. What would you rather? Clone yourself 10 times and have a party with 10 of your clones? Or hang out with 10 different friends?
That'd be awesome. No, I don't care what you say, Rabbi. That'd be amazing.
See,
Yes.
I have to go.
Yeah, where's up? The point
Okay.
is that God did not create us with him in his face so that we would be able to make that choice, just like Bryce said, free choice. So that we're not like Bruce Almighty walking out every morning saying, "Wow, God, you're so awesome," right? Then now we have the choice. And now we can faith, we can believe, we can make the choice. And once we make the choice, God is so proud of us. All right. So takeaway, guys, what can I do to nurture my faith every day? Let's share. If you need to go, you can go. If you want to stay on and tell me what you can do every day to nurture your faith, then feel free to share that right now. Ethan, if you need to go, you can go.
Thank you, Svi.
You got
See you
it.
next time.
See you next Tuesday. What can you do, guys, to nurture your faith every day? What's something you can do?
Just like regular bracha and stuff like that.
Awesome. And when you make that bracha, think about what you're saying. That becomes perfect. Awesome, Panina. Love it. Grace, what do you say?
Get a tattoo that says "I believe in God."
Yes, that would be awesome. You should do that. And while Yossi's cloning himself, and Yossi can tattoo you on him 10 times.
Yes.
Okay, awesome, guys. Does anyone want to stay to watch the video, or you're pretty zoomed out? Zoomed
I'm
out?
tired.
Okay, you got it.
Yeah.
Well, anyways, in recap, all the key points one more time. Emunah is not just something you feel, it's something you do. Faith must be internalized, nurtured. You gotta have, if having faith means also being faithful and committed, and God concealed himself so that we'd exist and we'd be able to have the free choice, like Bryce so beautifully said. Thank you, Panina, Yossi, and Bryce for being here. We'll see you next Tuesday. Shalom. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Shalom.
Got it. Shalom. Bye-bye, Bryce.